Hello and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean, and tonight we'll be reviewing Chattanooga Whiskey's 111 Proof Bourbon. Let's get into it. All right, so here is our bottle for this evening. Chattanooga Whiskey's 111 Proof Straight Bourbon Whiskey. And I do like a lot of things about this. I like the bottle. I think it's a cool bottle. I like that on the back here, let's read over it. First off, you got this little thing here about single fermentation. That's kind of cool. We won't read that though, but I'm going to go over the mash bill. I like that the mash bill is right on the bottle. So you got yellow corn, malted rye, caramel malted barley, and honey malted barley. So pretty cool. And then it also gives you the number of gallons that were in each barrel. Also, it says, goes through the filtration process, and it says greater than 2 years old, and batch size 6 to 10 barrels. And just for those that want to know, to compare at home, this is batch number 21F09R, and fermentation is 19B13R. So whatever that means. Anyway, and of course, Chattanooga is doing everything themselves, which is always cool. So I guess this is craft or something like that. But anyway, pretty nice. Let's go ahead and get into this thing though, get some poured and see what we think about it. I do like that cork. It's solid cork on top, very cool. Very like that a lot. Actually, nice color for it only being at least 2 years old. I guess there could be some stuff in there older than that, but it's at least 2, it says. Yeah, decent color there. All right, let's get this thing spun up, see what we can smell. All right, getting lots of dark fruits as well as your typical bourbon notes. So getting a nice plum note, kind of a sweet raisin, maybe a black cherry in there. Definitely a lot of plum notes coming through. Definitely getting your nice brown sugar note. Definitely a caramel in there for sure, a little pepper as well. Getting hints of baking spices, definitely some cinnamon coming through, maybe a little allspice. Maybe just a hint of anise in there. And there's a very slight mint note coming through. Yeah, all right, all in all, not a bad nose. Let's see if the palate holds up. Here we go, first sip. All right, so right up front, you get all of those dark fruit notes. You get the plum, the raisin, kind of that black cherry. And then as it works its way over your tongue, kind of into the mid palate, then you start to get into those little spicier notes, a lot of cinnamon presence, mid palate, as well as you're still getting those really sweet fruit notes. So a really nice combination mid palate. That's probably my favorite part of the sip is the mid palate there. Getting a lot of nice fruit sweetness, a lot of cinnamon. There's a little hints of black pepper in there as well. And there's a really nice black cherry note that I enjoy. That's certainly there in the mid palate. Also definitely getting your typical bourbon notes coming through. They are a little more subdued. The fruit notes are definitely more prominent, but you are getting a nice brown sugar. There is a little caramel there. And then you are getting just a little of oak presence, not a whole lot. A nice toasted oak. It doesn't taste like a sour oak, so that's good. Let's go in for one more sip here and see if we can focus on the finish and see what we get there. Okay, so before we get into the finish, first folks, if you're enjoying this video, please hit that like button. And also, if you're really enjoying it, please subscribe. Now, the finish and the tasting notes we got there. So on the finish, I don't think the finish is quite as nice as the rest of the palate. It kind of gets into a more sour tones. You're getting a little sour oak on the finish. There's also kind of a white grape note there, which is okay, but not my favorite. Also maybe just hints of lemon. There's maybe a little youth coming through on the finish. There's a little grassiness there. It's not real strong, but it's certainly there. And then also there's a pretty strong pepper note. So all in all, it's not bad. It's just definitely not my favorite finish. I wish that the finish was more like the mid palate, kind of those sweet fruits and the cinnamon spice. It's unfortunate that didn't translate through to the finish. But all in all, I think this is a pretty good experience overall. I wish the finish were different, since that's what you're kind of left with, is those kind of sour notes. But if you like bourbons that have more of those sour tones, then maybe you will like this more than I do. I will say I really do enjoy the mid palate of this, and actually when it first hits your palate, it's nice as well. It's just that finish kind of dings it a little bit for me. But anyway, folks, that is my thoughts on this one. Now, as far as a rating goes, remember we got our scale beside us here. So I think this is well above average, especially considering this is only 2 years old. I think they've done a really nice job for what it is. I look forward to seeing what Chattanooga does as their stuff gets older. Hopefully some of those sour notes go away and we get more depth of flavor. And this will be in our $40 and under bourbon battle bracket thing we got coming up in March, our March Madness. So it'll be curious to see how this finishes. But with all that said, rating. I'm going to go a 6.9. It is good for sure, and if you can find it, I definitely think it's worth a buy. I know the distribution on this is still not great, but hopefully it will start getting out to more states, and then you folks can try it for yourself. But if you have tried it, then please let us know that down in the comment section. And folks, again, if you've enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more from us, you can click right here for more reviews. And if you're really enjoying the channel, then please subscribe right here. Until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.